Tao Overflows.
The horizontal and vertical movement. Heraclitus says, "You are asleep and you are not aware." Awareness means to be in the moment, totally, so totally, that there is no movement towards the past or the future. All movement stops. That does not mean you have become static. Let me take an example of a vehicle. You tumble the car, it starts, the engine starts. You have an option to go forward in the forward gear or in the reverse gear. But there comes a situation, you are in the traffic. When you are in the traffic, you put the brakes, vehicle comes to a standstill. It is not moving forward, it is not moving backward. You do not switch off the engine remains on, but there is no movement forward or backward. Can it be said that it is static? As far as movement is concerned, the vehicle is static, it is not moving, stationary, but the engine is still on, it with an option to go forward in the forward gear or in the reverse gear. It is always there. So this is the situation when you are in the moment so totally. This moment that you are facing in the traffic, you cannot move forward, you cannot move backward. It is a moment, and you are in that moment so totally that you put your vehicle into neutral gear and your feet is on the brakes. Vehicle is not moving at all, neither forward nor backward. It is, you can say, stationary, but not static. A new movement starts, and it is indeed a movement in depth. There are two types of movements, and that is the meaning of Jesus' cross. It shows two movements. It is known as crossroad. The point where the horizontal and vertical lines intersect one another. From there, four directions are available. You can go to the right along the horizontal right, you can go to the left, you can go forward, you can go backward. So four direction, this is why it is known as crossroad. One movement is linear. You move in a line from one thing to another, from one thought to another, from one dream to another dream, from A to B, B to C, C to D. Thus, this way you move in a straight line, horizontal, and remain on the surface in a straight line. This is the movement of time. This is the movement of the one who is fast asleep. You can go like a shuttle backward or forward. The line is there. You can move from B to A or A to B like a shuttle. The line is there and the movement is linear. There is another movement which is totally different, of different dimension. This movement is not horizontal, instead it is vertical. You do not go from A to B or B to A. Instead, you go from A to deeper A, from A to A1, A2, A3, and so on and so forth. This is movement in depth or in height. When thinking stops, a new movement starts. Now you fall into depth. In an abyss-like phenomenon, people who are meditating deeply, they come to that point sooner or later. When they become afraid, because they feel as if the abyss has opened, a bottomless abyss, you become afraid. You would like to cling to the old movement because it was known and familiar to you, but it is like death. That is the meaning of Jesus' cross. It is death in one way. Going from horizontal to the vertical is death. Indeed, that is real death. But it is death only from one side. On the other side, it is resurrection. So when Jesus went on the cross, he was Jesus, but after resurrection, he became Christ, came to be known as Jesus the Christ. It is dying. So to be born, it is dying. To be reborn, it is dying from one dimension to be born on another dimension. Horizontal, you are Jesus. Vertical, you are Christ. So the two words are used as Jesus the Christ. Christ who came after resurrection. If you move from one thought to another, you remain in the world of time. If you move into the moment, not into the thought, you move into eternity. Then you are not static. Nothing is static in the world. Nothing can be static. Instead, a new movement begins. So when your car is still, the engine is on, in a way it is static, but it is in motion. It is not in motion, ready to move into any direction as the situation may need. This is not a static. Instead, a new movement, a movement without motivation begins. Remember these words. On a horizontal line, you move because of motivation. You have to achieve something, money, prestige, power, or God. But you have to achieve something. A motivation is there. A motivated movement means sleep. An unmotivated movement means awareness. You move because to move is sheer joy, a sheer delight. You move because movement is life. You move because life is energy and energy is movement. You move because energy is delight and not for anything else. There is no goal to it. You are not after any achievement. In fact, you are not going anywhere. You are not going at all. No movement is there. You are simply delighting in the energy. So when your engine is on, the gear is neutral, foot is on the brake, you are enjoying this movement. There is no movement whatsoever. Indeed, the movement has its own intrinsic value, there but no extrinsic value. A Buddha also lives, a Heraclitus lives, and a Jesus lives. And here I am living, breathing, but a different type of movement, totally unmotivated, is the cause and the way. You ask, what is stress? And you mention that life is a stress. Remember, stress is improper use of your intelligence. With me, things are as normal as they can be or can be possible. You worry too much about things over which you have no control or understanding. My role is to give you a total satiation. Do not worry about anything other than that. The best results are obtained when you do not hanker for anything. Be open to whatsoever is happening in the moment. You repressed, and for that matter, everyone does repress so many feelings and other things in life because you did not have anyone who could satisfy you at the physical, emotional, intellectual, or at the level of the being. Your need is more on being level. Then the fulfillment at that level filters into the intellectual dimension, the emotional dimension, the physical dimension. Without that, any fulfillment at the physical level does not go forward, go upward. Instead, it moves downward. I am working on it. I visited once a garden. The soil was one, the sky, the rainfall, the rain falls, the wind equally falls on each plant. The entire garden was managed by one gardener. Then there are different types of flowers, fragrances, blossoms in the garden. How does this happen? The soil is the same, the fertilizer is the same sunlight falls on all the plants, watering comes from one source of wind that blows. The difference is in the seed. Each seed comes from a different built-in program. Each seed comes with a different built-in program. Because the built-in program differs, so despite other things remaining the same, the blossom differs. Such is the case with each seeker and each individual. Relationship is very important in that process. The relationship between the plant and the gardener, between the plant and the soil, between the plant and the wind that blows, between the plant and the sunlight, between the plant and the rainfall. Also, each one remains too much confused when it comes to relationship in the life of a plant. The sunlight, the rainfall, the wind, the fertilizer, the gardener, all are equally important, and there is no confusion of any kind. There are so many types of it that we remain confused. As a result, during this process, this series of insights into life, love and light, I gave attention, so much attention to this. This series was further subdivided into many small ones with special captions as what is relationship, what is sex, and other aspects. At the same time, use subcaption to explain various aspects of what relationship is, what is deep understanding of sex. In the final analysis, as the process of insights is coming to an end, I would like to subdivide the talks on life and sex in small sections and also create special meditations to take you deeper into. The relationship chapters talks answers many of your unasked questions and that of others who constantly hide and preserve these within. I am of the opinion whatsoever goes on in the hands of reader as a written material or spoken should touch them at the physical level, emotional level, logical, and even at deeper level, and be capable of creating groups in consciousness. At the birth, you had no name, but just breaths were there. At death, there is name, but no breath. Journey between breath and name is known as life, and how you proceed between these two shores of breath and name is life.